Good morning. Welcome back to Venture Daily. The feud between Meta and OpenAI heats up as Zuck steals more OpenAI employees to join his superintelligence team. President Trump says he's found a buyer for the U.S. operations of TikTok, and I give you a quick recap of everything big that happened in the month of June. I'm Jackson Fordyce. It's Monday, June 30th. Let's get you smarter before your first meeting. All right, let's get it out of the way. What happened, Jackson, to your nose? We can see the big red scab on it. I'll tell you what happened. This weekend got a little crazy, and, I'll show you what happened to my nose this weekend.
There you go.
That's what happens when you're a warrior. That's what happens when you're out in the trenches, actually in the arena. What really happened is I think I scratched my nose at night. I just started bleeding. So that's a scab from scratching my nose at night. We have a fun show today. Today's day 6 of No Josiah in the studio. Who knows when he'll come back? I don't know. Will he ever come back? I don't know. But I got a feeling we might see him very, very soon. And, people always ask me, what do you miss most about Josiah in the studio? Is it someone to banter with? Is it someone just to share the work with you on a day-to-day basis? Is it having your friend around? The answer is no to all of those. The thing I miss most about Josiah, clearly, obviously, the only one thing that really, really matters is how he reads the public sponsorship message. And here we go. If you take investing seriously, you need to know about public.com. That's where you can invest in everything: stocks, options, bonds, and crypto. You can even earn some of the highest yields in the industry, like the 7% or higher yield you can lock in with a bond account. Public is a FINRA-registered SIPC insured platform that takes your investments as seriously as you do. Fund your account in 5 minutes or less at public.com/venture. That is our link, and get the $10,000 when you transfer your old portfolio paid for by Public Investing. Full disclosures in the podcast description. Please click our link in the description, which is public.com/venture. That is public.com/venture. You can see it right there on my face, the bottom corner. So thank you, Public, for being today's sponsor. All right, so we have this developing story here at Venture Daily. We've been commenting on it for the past maybe week or so. It's around Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, OpenAI, Sam Altman. So here's the long story short. I'll give you a quick recap, and then we can kind of get into what happened over the weekend. Mark Zuckerberg disappointed with Meta's progress in the AI game compared to companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google. Meta's products have been lagging behind. We've seen Mark disappointed in Llama 4's performance in news articles over the last week or two. So Zuck takes things into his own hands and starts recruiting top talent to join Meta, specifically for his superintelligence team. And so we saw Meta acquire 49% of Scale AI for $14 billion. Bringing in Alexander Wang, the CEO of Scale AI, to join that superintelligence team. So that's where we're at. And as of this weekend, Meta just acquired 4 more OpenAI researchers. So here's a tweet from Max Zeff. So for those keeping score, Meta has nabbed 8 OpenAI researchers, 3 OpenAI multimodal researchers from Zurich per the Wall Street Journal, 1 OpenAI foundational contributor to O1 per him in TechCrunch, and now 4 more OpenAI researchers from a variety of teams per the information. And so, these aren't just any hires. These are actually pretty important people at OpenAI. We have these 4 individuals. I won't name their names because I'm going to butcher them, but people who led O3, O4 Mini, GPT-4.1, the creator of O3 Mini and O1 Mini, core contributor to O1, head of post-training multimodal org, and a key contributor to GPT-4 and O1. And now we see the reaction of OpenAI to Meta's hiring of a lot of OpenAI researchers. So this is a story from Wired. OpenAI leadership responds to Meta's offers. Someone has broken into our home, and that's a direct quote from Mark Chin, the chief research officer at OpenAI. And here's a quote from him in the article. I feel a visceral feeling right now as if someone has broken into our home and stolen something. Please trust that we haven't been sitting idly by. And this is from a memo obtained by Wired, and Chin continues here. We've been more proactive than ever before. We're recalibrating comp, and we're scoping out creative ways to recognize and reward top talent. And this is the last thing I'll quote here. I think it's one of the most interesting ones. OpenAI is largely shutting down next week as the company tries to give employees time to recharge, according to multiple sources. Executives are still planning to work, those same sources say. And this is a quote from someone on the OpenAI team. Meta knows we're taking this week to recharge and will take advantage of it to try and pressure you to make decisions fast and in isolation. If you're feeling that pressure, don't be afraid to reach out. I and Mark are around and want to support you! Exclamation point. And like I said, this is a developing story, so us at Venture Daily will be sure to keep you updated with any new transfers from people at OpenAI to Meta, or if Sam Altman responds to Mark's poaching of OpenAI talent. All right, we're going to move into our next story. President Trump says he's found a buyer for TikTok's U.S. operations, and it's a group of very wealthy people. In an interview with Fox News, the president said a deal's in motion to separate TikTok from Chinese ownership, but I still need President Xi's approval. So here's a video of Trump talking about the TikTok deal.
No big deal. It's like TikTok. I'm extending that, but no big deal. We have a buyer for TikTok, by the way. I think I'll need probably China approval. I think President Xi will probably do it.
Who's the buyer?
I'll tell you in about 2 weeks.
A big technology company there.
Very, very wealthy people. It's a group of very wealthy people. But what I want to do is, and what I will do just sometime prior to the 9th, is we'll send a letter to all these countries. There's 200 countries. You can't talk to all of them. No matter how many people you have, you can't talk to all of them.
The deadline for ByteDance, which is the parent owner of TikTok, to divest its U.S. operations has already been delayed 3 times, now set for September 17th. If ByteDance doesn't comply, TikTok faces a nationwide ban in the United States. We've heard that before several times. And who are the people that might be in this deal for TikTok? Early reports suggest that the deal may involve A16Z, Blackstone, Silver Lake, and other top private equity firms, and plus TikTok current investors like General Atlantic and KKR. But in the deal, there's a major sticking point, which is TikTok's algorithm. It's registered in China's official tech database, and any export or handover of the code would face serious scrutiny in Beijing. And so Trump's own tariffs on China earlier this year already stalled negotiations. So now the main question is whether China will sign off or if TikTok will be forced offline in the United States. So this is another developing story. If there's any news on who the buyer will be, when that purchase will take place, we'll be sure to keep you updated here at Venture Daily. And now let's move into our final story of the day, which is a recap of everything big that happened in the month of June. The first one, of course, we had, Israel bomb Iran, Iran bomb Israel, the United States bomb nuclear facilities in Iran, Iran responding to the U.S. attacks and targeting U.S. military bases in Qatar, Israel and Iran firing back and forth, and then we get a ceasefire. That's been the biggest news of the month of June. We also have Meta acquiring Scale AI for $14.3 billion, 49% of Scale AI, which we talked about earlier this episode. We have Chime IPOing for $27 a share. Anduril raises their Series G at $2.5 billion with a $30.5 billion valuation, led by Founders Fund. Apple disappoints at WWDC 25. No movement in AI innovation, really. We see Amazon investing $10 billion into a North Carolina AI database. We see Waymo is getting torched and lit on fire in the Los Angeles riots around deportation. 4 tech execs joined the U.S. Army. OpenAI wins a $200 million DoD contract, the first of their kind. And the new Pope, Pope Leo, takes on AI as a potential threat to humanity. That is it for Venture Daily today. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for sticking around for the month of June, a second month in the books here at Venture Daily. Thank you to Content Stack for letting us film here every single day in the month of June. Also, Content Stack merch. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show this, but I'm showing this right now. Thank you again for letting us film here every single day in Austin, Texas. If you like today's show, whether on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or X, leave us a like, a comment, and a review. Throw us a 5-star rating if you think we earned it. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow morning here at Venture Daily.